Oh, you're gonna love this one. Get comfy, let your thoughts wander, and when you're ready, baby, dream of a new life.
The Enchanted Wager. Power Girls Awakening by Catherine Serafina. Chapter 17, November 4th and 5th, 2025. The house smelled faintly of clean cotton and detergent. Music drifted low from my phone speaker, something upbeat that made folding laundry feel less like a chore. I was halfway through a pile of warm towels when my phone buzzed against the counter. I turned too fast. It skidded, bounced off my wrist, and went straight into the sink full of suds. Oh no, I lunged, splashing water everywhere as I fished it out, bubbles sliding down my arm. The screen was still lit, somehow alive. Modern technology really was a miracle. And then, because the universe loves timing, it started ringing again. I blinked through the soap on my lashes, swiped at the screen, and froze when I saw the name. Lucas. Of course, because nothing says poised and put together like answering a call dripping dishwater. I wiped the phone against a towel and hit accept, breathless and half laughing. Hey, sorry you caught me mid-domestic disaster. His warm laugh filled my ear. Should I send a rescue crew? Only if they bring paper towels. Noted, he said, amusement coloring his voice. Actually, I was calling for a different reason. The pause that followed wasn't long, but it was enough to make my heart flutter. How do you feel about dinner tomorrow night? I blinked, water still dripping from my sleeve. Dinner tomorrow? Like an actual dinner? Actual dinner, he confirmed, teasing. Plates, chairs, maybe even candles, if I'm feeling brave. My grin was instant and hopelessly obvious. I'd love that. Great, I'll pick you up at 6 tomorrow evening. 6 works, I said quickly, juggling the towel and the phone, trying not to drop it again. Then it's a date, he said, the smile clear in his voice. The call ended, leaving the kitchen suddenly too quiet except for the soft gurgle of the sink. I stood there for a moment, bubbles still sliding down the cabinet door, and then it hit me. I squealed, actually squealed, and spun in place, grinning like an idiot. I have to call Becca and Haylie. Steam still curled around the bathroom mirror when I stepped out, wrapped in a towel that smelled faintly of lavender. I'd already picked out the dress hours ago, hanging it on the closet door so I wouldn't second-guess myself a simple wine-colored number that skimmed my curves without trying too hard. Black tights, ankle boots, and my cream peacoat waited beside it, ready to play their part. I dried my hair into loose, soft waves that brushed my neck and added just enough lip color to look intentional. The result wasn't dramatic, but it felt right. Warm, confident. Me. One last look in the mirror. I smoothed the hem of the dress, took a breath, and whispered, "You've got this." A car door closed outside. My heart jumped, but I forced myself not to rush. I busied my hands with straightening a pillow on the couch, pretending not to listen as footsteps crunched along the walkway. When the doorbell finally rang, the sound sent a flutter straight through my chest. I waited half a beat, then walked to answer it. Lucas stood there on the porch, framed by the last traces of sunset. In one hand, he held a small bouquet of autumn flowers, gold and russet chrysanthemums, a few sprigs of green tucked between. "You look great," he said, his smile starting small, then deepening as he really took me in. "You're sweet," I managed, cheeks warming as I accepted the flowers. "These are beautiful." "They reminded me of you," he said, then looked instantly self-conscious, rubbing the back of his neck. I laughed softly, the tension easing. "Come on in a sec while I find a vase." Once the flowers were safely in water, we headed out to the car. The drive to the restaurant was easy, quiet, but comfortable, the kind of silence that didn't need filling. Streetlights flickered across his face, and every so often he'd glance my way with that half smile that made my stomach flutter. The restaurant was small and warm, tucked between 2 storefronts, its windows glowing with candlelight. The scent of roasted herbs and coffee drifted through the doorway. When the waiter came to take our coats, Lucas's jaw actually dropped. "Wow," he murmured, eyes widening before he caught himself. "You look incredible." I smiled, heat rising to my cheeks. You already said that once. Did I? He said lightly. Guess it still applies. We were led to a cozy corner table. Conversation came effortlessly, Clara's endless imagination, how she'd refused to take off her wings, our favorite movies, a few guilty pleasure shows we both secretly watched. He told me about the chaos of deadlines at his architecture firm. I told him about my professor's obsession with group projects. He listened like what I said mattered, really mattered. At one point, our fingers brushed when he passed me my glass. Once, twice. The second time, neither of us moved away. After a while, he leaned back, smiling in that soft, unguarded way I was starting to love. Feels like I've known you a lot longer than a week. I was thinking the same thing, I said, smiling into my drink. The waiter eventually brought the check, and before I could even reach for my purse, Lucas slid his card into the folder. You sure? I asked. Positive, he said with a grin. My treat. I didn't argue. I didn't want to. When the waiter returned with the receipt, Lucas stood and quietly lifted my peacoat from the back of my chair. Allow me, he said, holding it open for me. I slipped my arms through, the wool brushing his hands as he settled it on my shoulders. The small gesture sent a pleasant shiver through me, gentle, old-fashioned, perfect. Outside, the night air was cool enough that I pulled the coat tighter. The car ride home was quiet again, that soft, floating quiet where the world feels lighter than it should. When we reached my house, he parked by the curb and turned off the engine. Mind if I walk you to the door? I'd like that, I said, already smiling. We walked side by side up the short path, our shoes crunching against dry leaves. The porch light flicked on automatically, washing us in warm gold. I turned to thank him, but the words caught when I met his eyes. He hesitated just long enough to ask the question without speaking it. Then he leaned in. The kiss was soft at first, a brush, a question then deepened, warm and certain. Even with my heeled boots, I still had to tilt my chin up, leaning into him as his hand came up gently to my cheek. The warmth of his touch grounded me in that still, perfect moment. My heart raced, my cheeks burned, and for once I didn't try to steady either. When we finally parted, I was breathless in the best way. Lucas smiled, voice low. Good night, Kara. Good night, I whispered, my lips still tingling as he turned back toward his car. I stayed there until the taillights faded down the street, then stepped inside, closing the door behind me, my pulse still fluttering like the leaves at my feet. I slipped inside, still glowing from the date, the scent of autumn flowers lingering faintly in the hallway. I barely had time to set my purse down before I spotted them, Becca and Haylie, lounging on my couch with identical wicked grins. Well, 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 Becca drawled. You're late and you're smiling. Should we guess? Haylie smirked, crossing her legs. No need. Her lipstick says everything. I laughed, trying and failing to hide the flush rising up my neck. Okay, fine. Maybe it was a good night. But we have somewhere to be, remember? Becca's grin softened into something gentler. Right. Riverside Hill. Tonight's the night. The drive through the sleeping suburbs felt lighter than air. Becca's old sedan hummed quietly, headlights carving thin gold lines through the trees as we climbed toward the overlook. I changed into jeans, a soft cream sweater, and flats. Heels would have been suicide on the dirt path. The night was sharp and clean, the stars scattered like frost above the windshield. Haylie pressed her hands against the heater vents. You sure about this? It's freezing. Becca smiled faintly at the road ahead. Poetic, though. Good spot for something like this. Riverside Hill wasn't just any spot. It was our spot. When I was still Kenneth, my parents used to bring me here for picnics every spring. Back then, it had been simple. Grass-stained knees, sandwiches, and sunlight flickering off the river below. Later, after school, it was where Becca and I came to talk, to escape, to dream. When life felt too heavy, we'd drive up here just to breathe. The hill looked the same as it always had. Quiet, familiar, timeless. The city spread out below us, lights shimmering across the water like spilled gold. We stepped out into the cold. The wind caught my hair and tugged lightly at my sweater. So, Haylie said, squinting toward me. You just have to, claim what you want and be honest about it. And that's supposed to make it permanent? Becca nodded, calm but sure. That's the idea. No games, no conditions. Just truth. I took a breath, the kind that reaches your bones. Then I'm ready. They stood just behind me, close enough to feel, but far enough to let the moment belong to me. I stared out at the city lights, heart steady. I want to stay Kara, because I am Kara. Not a spell, not a dare, not a moment. Me. For an instant, nothing happened. Then a warm wind rose from nowhere, sweeping across the hill. It wasn't strong, just enough to brush our faces, to rustle the trees, to carry the faint scent of leaves and river. The cold vanished for a heartbeat, replaced by something bright and alive that wrapped around us like sunlight. And then it faded, leaving silence, soft, full, sacred. Haylie whispered, "That actually happened." Becca exhaled, smiling at the night. Yeah, I think the world just listened. The calm settled inside me, deep and steady. It feels finished, whole. Becca slipped an arm around my shoulders. It is. Haylie blinked. Did anybody else smell pumpkin when the wind blew? I laughed, the sound breaking the hush. No, but I could really go for a PSL right about now. Both girls lit up at once. Oh my God, yes. We all laughed, the sound carried off by the last whisper of wind. We started back toward the car, gravel crunching under our steps. Below us, the city shimmered in quiet reflection. Becca pulled out her phone to check the time, but then stopped mid-motion. Kara, she said, turning the screen toward me. Look, the background on our group chat, once a goofy selfie from weeks ago, was different. Same setting, same laughter, but the details had shifted. I was in it now, front and center, mid-laugh in a photo we had never taken. We never took that picture, Haylie murmured. I stared for a long moment, heart fluttering, then smiled softly. Guess the world's catching up. A gentle breeze stirred again, lifting the edge of my sweater as if in agreement. We climbed into the car, 3 friends under a canopy of quiet stars, the night calm, the future certain.
Did that leave you wanting more? The naughty version's waiting for you on my Patreon, along with so many other juicy little secrets. Go on, baby. You know where to find me.